10 o'clock. Do you know where your children are?
It's 10 p.m. and you're watching KCRA TV, where the news comes first, with Stan Atkinson, Carol Bland, weather with Shelley Monahan, Walt Gray on sports, home of Live Copter 3, and Northern California's #1 news team. This is Channel 3 Reports.
America's favorite barflies wave goodbye. After 11 years of serving up laughs, it is last call at Cheers, and millions enjoy one more for the road. No doubt about it, a lot of people will be talking about tonight's final episode for a very long time.
This farewell, after all, to a bunch of old friends is our top story on a special one-hour edition of the Primetime News. In fact, we have a series of live reports for you tonight. Channel 3's Walt Gray. He's standing by in Boston town, where the post-show party is still going strong. And Kelly Brothers is at a Sacramento watering hole. It was the scene of a big Cheers party tonight. But first, let's switch to Beantown. Wally, you are a part of history tonight. How about that?
Well, Stan, thank you very much. It has been a very interesting night here. As a matter of fact, the show wrapping up, the cast members kind of hanging out the third floor. They've just actually gone back in, partying all night long. You're going to see a lot of that on the Tonight Show tonight, I'm sure. George went, and a lot of the cast members have stayed on to kind of say hello to the crowd and thank them for 11 years of great loyalty. And as you can tell, there was a lot of action in and outside the Bull and Finch pub tonight.
Sorry, we're closed.
This evening's episode became part of television history. And what was the biggest surprise of this final show?
Maybe we're being a little overcautious, but we don't want to make a mistake about something this important. Sorry.
It looks like the anticipated marriage of Sam and Diane will never happen. It was a special night outside the bar that is the symbolic home of Cheers. Thousands of fans watched on big screen televisions. They got a special thank you from the actors, who made a guest appearance from a third-floor window. It was an evening that no one will soon forget.
I was looking out there, and I got a little teary, and thought, well, this is pretty good for a truck driver's son from Bridgeport. So you did okay, kiddo.
It's pretty, it's heavy. It's very heavy. But I think that it's okay, because this has been wonderful, and it is what it is. This can't go on forever.
So will some degree of normalcy return to the Bull and Finch pub here in Boston? Well, who knows? The show will be on in syndication for quite a while. The Bull and Finch used to be some kind of a hangout for local politicos until the Cheers show came on, and then it became a tourist trap, quite frankly. They said that since it became the hangout for tourists, that a bunch of people from Iowa show up now to order T-shirts and a round of Cokes. But maybe somewhere down the road it'll return to the way it used to be. Just a drinking spot for the locals. Back to you, Stan.
And not a bad one at that. Of course, it's just ended here on the West Coast. Were the fans there at all disappointed in the ending? You know, we all had great expectations of a twist, and the producers got the last laugh in the end, and it was probably more real life the way it ended than anything else they could have done.
It was, you're completely right. I think we all felt kind of was a soft punch. We expected some kind of heavyweight ending, maybe the marriage of Sam and Diane, but it didn't work out that way. Maybe they've left room for something down the road.
Yeah, you never can tell. Son of Cheers, right?
Exactly.
Thanks, Walt. You've done a great job. Carol?
Stay tuned for the miniseries. Well, the post-show party is still going strong in Boston. The scene is much the same here in Northern California, if you can believe it. People gathered in bars, living rooms, just about anywhere to watch tonight's grand finale. Channel 3's Kelly Brothers is at one such spot tonight, Shanley's Bar and Grill in Sacramento, where the crowd is still shouting for Norm. Is that right, Kelly?
That's for sure, Carol. It's much going on here at Shanley's tonight, including a Norm look-alike contest, a Sam dating questionnaire, even a Carla insult showdown. But as Cheers fades into the sunset, what about neighborhood bars like Cheers? Because as you know, these days, many people prefer cappuccino to Coors. So what about neighborhood bars? Will they die away, much as the television series just did?
When people want to hit a watering hole these days, they might catch a game at a sports bar, cut a rug at a dance bar, or forego alcohol and just get a coffee. So what about neighborhood bars like Cheers? Are they a dying breed?
They're few and far between, almost like an endangered species.
Joshua Pups is the new kid on the block, open only 5 years, but it already has its own loyal clientele.
We'll always describe it like a Cheers, that everybody knows your name, and no matter when you walk in, you feel accepted, you're comfortable, and no matter how good or bad your day is, you can leave it behind and relax and have a good time.
At the Pine Cove in East Sacramento, you'll find Harry McCullum, bar manager here for a quarter century. He says Cheers was pretty realistic.
You can go almost any neighborhood bar and find a different face, same people.
This is the face of Wesley King, a Pine Cove regular, who describes this place as the neighborhood's living room.
I know everybody. I know Harry, I know all those guys down there. Yeah. I know them all.
The Palomino Room has been a North Sac landmark since the mid-50s, and it has the customers to prove it.
The customer arts comes in, he sings a couple songs. It always takes us back to Collins Park in 1945, BJ Day. Bob, he's been coming in for 35 years.
But young people aren't finding the same sense of relaxation, so they look elsewhere, perhaps outside.
It's a little nicer, more relaxed atmosphere. You don't feel pressured here. It's not really a place to pick people up. It's just a place to sit and have a coffee.
I think the only coffee being served here tonight, Carol, is Irish coffee. Of course, Cheers has faded away, but it will live on in reruns. Whether neighborhood bars do, well, we'll just have to wait and see. And I just want you to know, Carol, I've been working very hard on this story. As a matter of fact, for the last few months, I've been engaged in very heavy research into neighborhood bars.
Kelly, it shows. I just want to know if you won the Norm Lookalike contest.
No, but I came in second in Cliff.
Okay. Good going, Kelly. Back to work.
Thank you.
We still have much more ahead tonight as we take a fond look back at Cheers. In just about 15 minutes, we're going to meet the production team that created the series, and we'll take a look at some memorable moments. We'll also bring you an exclusive interview with John Ratzenberg. He's the guy who played know-it-all postman Cliff Clavin. And then it's back live to Boston again, where Jay Leno will be hosting The Tonight Show at the Bull and Finch Pub.
Question, could a show like Cheers be made today? Producers say probably not, and they'll tell us why when we come back.
We're also going to take a look back at some of the memorable moments from the show's 11-year history.
And we're also going to take a look at this year's version of a Northern California tradition.
What? What?
Certainly has changed in the past decade. Nowhere is that more evident than on television. Just ask the producers of Cheers. They say it would be almost impossible to put a show like that on the air today. Channel 3's Mark Gretschmill explains why, and he takes a look at some of the show's most memorable moments.
Afternoon, everybody.
Norm's bar entrances became one of the show's most popular routines. Originally intended as a one-time joke, it snowballed after getting a big laugh.
So it was somebody's idea, well, let's do another one the next week. And then it became where we had to do another one next week. And pretty soon it became we were spending as much time on the Norm entrances as we were on the whole rest of the story. And after a few years, we tried to find ways to not bring him through the door. Have him already here.
No, I mean it. He was the very best, as sure as the earth is round.
You don't believe that, Coach?
No, you know, I never used to believe it, Sam, till I saw those pictures from the space shuttle.
The saddest moment for the Cheers family came in 1985 with the death of actor Nicholas Colasanto.
We were going to do a show, shoot a show the night that he died. And we met with the cast, and we said, now, Nick would want us to go on, the show must go on, that sort of thing. We'll abide by whatever you want to do. And everybody felt that wouldn't be right in honor of him, so we closed down that night. I think it's the only time we've ever closed down, isn't it?
The producers say that in 1993, selling the concept of a program like Cheers would be almost impossible.
There might be more resistance to a show taking place in a bar even at the time, we had people who wouldn't watch in the beginning because I don't want to watch a show set in a bar. And I also think the central character of Sam Malone being a womanizer is kind of a passé character now.
I'm Mark Retchmel, Channel 3 reports.
I think there are a lot of people, though, that think that whole bunch could live on forever.
Oh, sure. A lot of people who could identify with many members of that bunch.
Yeah, maybe Sam will miss it all, want to come back and do it again.
You know, they're saying that perhaps 100 million viewers tune in tonight to that program, the final episode. So that
It'll be
may
interesting to see how it
indicate
compares to the MASH finale.
Absolutely.
Which was the biggest of all time.
For 11 seasons, John Ratzenberger has played one of the roles of the know-it-all Cliff Clavin. So what was it like playing the country's best-known mailman? Channel 3's Mark Gretschmill visited with the actor to find out.
Well, I'm still a mailman, Ma. Well, I know you had high hopes for me, Ma, but I couldn't finish college, and that's all there is to it.
Over the years, Cheers has poked more than a little fun at the U.S. Postal Service. But as Ratzenberger has found out, the men and women in blue don't carry grudges.
To the postal carriers, I'm like the John Wayne. You know, the guy in the trenches, the icon. I get a lot of letters from the foot soldiers of the post office, usually complaining about the management and how difficult they are.
How would the Civil War have changed if Lincoln had had octopus tentacles instead of a beard?
The married father of two is recognized wherever he goes, which sometimes can lead to awkward situations.
People watch a lot of television, and immediately you are the character. Hey, Cliffy, how's it going? Hey, Cliff, where's Norm? And how do you answer that? Well, he's waiting for me in the car. I don't, he's home in his garage. How do you answer that, really, when, your mind is on reality of going shopping and picking up food or whatever, and then someone hits you with that, and now I have to pretend to be Cliff in a supermarket. And, so sometimes I say, well, TV's make-believe. This is real. So,
as production of Cheers drew to a close here on the Paramount Studios lot, people started clamoring for mementos from the show. For John Ratzenberger, those kind of requests are nothing new.
It's usually charity auctions, and what I do is I've sent them autographed pairs of Cliff Clavin socks. I got a whole storeroom full of white socks.
The very unpretentious Ratzenberger is now at Warner Brothers Studios, pedaling between his office and the soundstage of his new show, which has no connection to Cheers.
See you later.
Was there much pressure on you to do a spin-off of the Cliff Clavin character?
No, there wasn't a lot of pressure. There's talk now of a movie, possible film, but it's just at a rumor stage. I didn't want to do a TV show with Cliff in it because it would have been held under too much of a microscope, and if it wasn't Cheers quality, then, well, it would go down the tubes. That was my fear, and I don't think it's fair to the character to try him out in another venue.
All right, what do you think, Cliffy? No, Sammy, it's getting late. I gotta fly. I gotta do some lint sculptures. Oh.
I'm Mark Gretschmill, Channel 3 reports.
Then after sports, we're going to switch back live to Boston for a preview of a very special Tonight Show with Jay Leno.
gave us a try, now hit subscribe. Be sure to YouTube responsibly and hit that like button if you like what you see, because there's plenty of content to come.